Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Hello. I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, if you're watching this, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Do excuse my being late today because this is my first attempt at trying Facebook Live streaming. So I'm not sure if this is going to work properly for you, but I hope it does. And welcome to everyone who's stayed tuned. I can't really see who's attending this, so yeah, if you're listening to me, welcome. Okay, if you have any questions related to the IELTS reading practice where this particular task is concerned, please feel free to write in a comment below the video, or feel free to reach out to me after we have done this session. Okay, let's get started. Now, the IELTS reading practice, matching headings to paragraphs. Now, where do I begin? In the IELTS reading test, you may be asked, among many tasks, to match headings to sections of the text. And basically what this type of task does is that it tests your ability to understand the main idea of each paragraph. Okay, what the topic or the theme for each paragraph is usually. Now, headings are basically short sentences that gives you a short summary of the information in a paragraph, and your job as the candidate is to pick the one that best summarizes the information in the paragraph. Okay, in this part of the test, you're normally given between 5 to 7 headings, and you're asked to match each paragraph in the reading text to one heading. Now, you will probably notice, if you've been doing lots of practice, you will probably notice that there are always more headings than there are paragraphs. So that's basically meant to distract you and confuse you. So your job is to go past this this trick and make sure that you can identify the exact paragraph that you need to give the exact paragraph for you to give the correct answer. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a list of common problems that people normally have when they are faced with this type of task. This is a very common complaint that I get from a lot of students. Miss, there's too much information here. How can I squeeze all that information in 60 minutes, or all those words in 20 minutes for each passage? Yeah, so I think this, as I've mentioned this quite often to my students, the IELTS test is as much a test of your time management skills as it is a language test. So you're going to have to make sure that you train yourself with a clock timer in front of you to get yourself used to how long your 20 minutes should be for each passage, and how long 16 minutes, what 16 minutes feels like to cover all 3 passages. So this can actually be quite easily overcome. All you have to do is practice with a clock timer in front of you and have a feel for the duration of the whole task of the whole test, the reading test. So this is something that you're going to have to do on your own, to train on your own. And so when the real test comes, you're more or less in your comfort zone, because you're tuned to how long 60 minutes lasts for, or how long 20 minutes lasts for. Another common problem with this type of task is trying to match exact words to the text, which is a big mistake, because what you're meant to do is to identify keywords from the text that have more or less the same meanings as the words in the question or in the task. So you need to make sure that you do not fall for the trick of looking for the exact word or words from the headings and try to match them in the text, because quite likely you're not going to find the exact words in the text itself. You're most likely going to find a similar expression, a phrase perhaps, or a synonym, but very, very unlikely the exact word. Okay, another problem here is candidates finding themselves stuck when they see headings appearing to have the same meaning. This is when they start to panic and think, oh dear, what do I do? Two similar headings and only one paragraph that seems to be talking about these two headings. So we're going to talk about how to deal with that later on, but this is also a common problem that some candidates tend to have. Okay, another situation here is where students or candidates don't really understand the main ideas that's involved in each paragraph. What some students try to do, how they strategize, is they usually try to read the first sentence of each paragraph, which they would mistakenly sometimes identify as the topic sentence. Now, please note that topic sentences do not normally, well, they usually come at the beginning of each paragraph, but it doesn't always happen that way. You can find the main idea either at the end of each paragraph, or somewhere in the middle, or it may be the second last sentence of the paragraph. So yeah, do read the first sentence of each paragraph, but do not assume that that first sentence is always the main idea for that paragraph. Okay? Now, again, time management. Try not to spend too much time on one heading or one paragraph. So you need to make sure that you give yourself enough time, maybe about a minute maximum, on one question. Okay? If you spend more than 2 minutes on one question, then you'll have mismanaged your time. So when you have reached 20 minutes for that particular passage, move on. You don't really have time to linger on to other questions within the same passage, because you are out of time. Okay, so that's also another issue. And then we have the confusing order of information. What this means is that some answers are not in the same order as the text. So you're going to have to move your eyes, skim the passage basically, and not assume that the headings necessarily come in the order of the text that the paragraphs are in. Okay, so I wonder if you go through any of these problems, if you have experienced any of these problems. If you have, then you're not alone, because these are quite common complaints among my students. Okay, let's move on to what you need to do and what you shouldn't be doing in the IELTS test. Okay. All right. Now, first of all, you need to make sure that I'm not really sure if you can see my screen here because I'm looking at my Facebook page right now, and it's showing the first page of the presentation. If you can hear me, let me know if the page moves along at the same pace as I'm moving along the page. So I'm not really sure if it's coordinating or it's syncing with my actions here. Anyway, 10 do's and don'ts. First of all, if you find that this is a struggle for you, do this task first. Get that out of the way. If this happens to be an issue for you when you do the IELTS reading practice in the real test, do this one first. Get that out of the way. Do the easier ones later on. Okay? Because if you do this, you'll be able to get the general meaning of the text as a whole. And later it will help you with the rest of the questions that will ask you to take a closer look at the text. So it would be a good idea to try and get over this hurdle first. Okay, this I think is a very common piece of advice that a lot of IELTS teachers tend, or not just IELTS teachers, but English teachers tend to tell their students, do not read every word. Okay, you don't have time for this, so try not to do this. You are not expected to read every single word in the text because it's just going to take too long. And you only have 60 minutes to cover so many questions, 40 questions in the text. In the test. And in this kind of question, you are only required to understand the main idea of each paragraph. Okay, not every single piece of information. One advice is to read the first one or two sentences and also the last sentence of the paragraph. So if you must understand this in a little bit more detail, if you must have a clear understanding of what the main idea is, read the first two sentences, the first sentence, second sentence, and also the last sentence. Okay, but try not to read every single word. Don't do that, you don't have time. And also try not to understand every word. Okay, obviously there are words that you will not understand. And what normally happens is that candidates tend to panic. Sorry, I'm just having a sip of my coffee there. Yeah, people tend to panic. But my advice to you is don't worry about this. Okay, only think about what the gist of each paragraph is as a whole, not individual words. Don't read the text at a micro level. Okay, even native speakers like myself will find it difficult to understand every word in the IELTS reading test, given the time that we have to complete the test. So if native speakers find it difficult to do, then if English is not your first language, then you might find it doubly hard to try and accomplish this task. So try not to stress yourself over this. Just get the main idea of each paragraph and the rest will fall into place. Okay, now next thing that you need to do is to look out for synonyms. Okay, as I've mentioned earlier, a lot of people tend to look for words that match exactly with the words in the text. This is a bad idea because, for example, a keyword in the heading might be something like attractive, for example. And the word you're looking for in the text could be many different words that have the same meaning as attractive. For example, beautiful, good-looking, scenic, pretty, you know, so you might not find the word attractive itself in the text, but you may find other expressions that have the same idea to this. So look out for them. Okay, next thing that you need to do is to compare keywords in similar headings. So this is where a lot of people are stumped. You know, they see a couple of headings that look very similar to each other and get very confused, and then they panic. Now, if there are 2 or 3 headings that are very similar to each other, what you're going to have to do is to, I don't know, write the paragraph, maybe write the heading number next to each paragraph, next to the paragraph in question, and then go back to the list of headings, look at the two headings again, and see what makes them actually close to each other in meaning, but not exactly the same meaning. Am I making sense? Try to find out the difference between the 2 headings. Okay, there may be keywords there that might not exactly mean the same thing. How does this change the meaning? And which one do you think matches the paragraph best? So we're going to have a look. We're going to take a look at an example text later, and this might come up. So be aware of headings that are very similar to each other. Okay, now if you can't decide which heading is the best fit, then come back to it later. Just move on, come back to it later. Once you've answered all the other questions, maybe the whole text will start to make more sense to you, and then you will be able to have a clearer picture, and then be able to pick the better answer for the headings that are similar to each other. Okay, another dangerous thing to do, which is a don't assume anything. Now, even if you have a lot of background knowledge about the topic, if you are in the medical profession, and if the topic or the text tends to be happens to be on something related to medicine or technology, medical technology, then you're in luck. You're at an advantage because you have a lot of background knowledge on this. But do not assume that the answer is this way because of your experience as a doctor or a nurse, for instance. Okay? Just ignore your background knowledge. Your job is to prove why this answer is right and why this answer or this heading is not a good fit. So you're being tested on the text only, not on your background knowledge. Okay, so make sure that you do not end up assuming things which you may disagree with, but don't assume it. You need to make sure that you can prove why this heading is the best fit from the text itself, not from anywhere else. Okay. All right, now it might be a weird piece of advice. Don't read too quickly because you're given so little time, right? And you think, wow, you need to read quickly to be able to do the test well. No, don't read too quickly because you may find that you just need to skim the text because you don't have much time. But this somehow is a very dangerous thing to do because it makes students not understand most of what the text is saying. It's sometimes better to do this task a little slower and actually understand what you're reading. Okay, so it would be a good idea for you to try and strike a balance. And like I said, if this is a very difficult task for you, try to tackle this one first before moving on to other task types. Okay. Number 9, don't panic. If you know nothing about the subject, if, like I've mentioned earlier, if the text is something on medicine or technology and you have no idea what's involved in current trends or events in medical technology, for example, don't panic. Okay, it's not a knowledge test. You're not expected to have technical knowledge of the topic, but basically um, um, it's more or less something more academic than technical. So you're not expected to have a lot of background knowledge of the topic that you're doing. Okay, and finally, don't look at the headings first. Why is that? Because it will make you look for specific words in the text instead of the main idea. Okay, so what you're going to have to do is to find the main idea for each topic and not to find specific information. Okay, so try to look at each paragraph for what it's about. Get rid of all background knowledge that you have about the topic. Try to have a feel for the general meaning of each paragraph first. And like I said to you before, try to read the first and the last sentences so that you know what the text or each paragraph covers. Okay, I hope that's clear so far. I'm not really sure if you're following this, but okay, if you do have questions, type them out in the comment box. Okay, let's move on to what we need to do to strategize. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, if this is a difficult topic for you to do this task first. Get that out of the way first before moving on to other types of task. Okay, and as I've mentioned as well, basically it's just a review of what I've told you before. Don't look at the headings yet. Look at the paragraphs. Try to get a feel of what each paragraph is about by reading the first or the last sentence of each paragraph, and try to understand the general meaning. Yeah, just basically the general meaning of each paragraph. Don't worry about identifying keywords in the text just yet. Just work out the general meaning. And then look at the headings and look at the keywords in the heading. Okay? Once you've identified the keywords, match the easy ones first. Try to do the easy ones. Get that out of the way before you move on to the challenging ones. So try to match any headings that are very, very obvious and that you're very certain about, and do those first. And for the ones that are not so easy, try to analyze the keywords and find synonyms between them. So like I said before, if you have two headings that are so close in meaning to each other, put them next, put the heading number next to each paragraph, and try to figure out, look at those two headings again, try to figure out, is there one particular word in the heading that would differentiate it from the other heading? Okay, so to do this, I think you need to find synonyms. Do not try to match exact words. As I've said, try to find synonyms. Okay, next thing you're going to have to do is move on. Okay, very simply, move on. If you still can't pick one, if you're stumped, move on, because you'll find the answer later on. Don't panic. If anything, you'll lose 1 mark. But quite often, with enough practice, you'll find that the answer will come to you later on. Okay, and then afterwards, when you're done, repeat this procedure for you know, for other topics or other passages. So practice, practice, practice. Okay, let's try doing a practice test and see how well you can try to do how well you can do this. Okay, this text, if you can see, it's called "Why Eating Chocolate is Good for You." All right, and a topic that's very close to my heart. This is actually taken from the Daily Mail. Okay, I'm going to show you a list of the headings here, but of course, like I said, it's not a good idea to read the headings first. All you have to do is take a look at um, the paragraphs for each paragraph in the passage and see if you can work out what the main idea is for each of them. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds to look through A and B, and then afterwards I'll move the page for you. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to the next page. I hope you can see paragraphs C, D, and E there. Remember, look at the first two sentences and the last sentence to get a general idea of what each paragraph is about. Okay, I'm going to move the page to paragraphs F, G, H, and I. Okay, do this very quickly. First sentence, last sentence to get the main idea of each paragraph. Okay, not sure if you finished doing this. So now I'm going to show you the list of headings. The first one has been done for you. So okay, let's take a look at the example first, just to find out why heading 0 is paragraph E. Chocolate could boost concentration. Okay. Oops, sorry, hold on. Let's take a look back at the keyword here. So the keyword that we're looking for, that we're looking to identify, is something to do with concentration. Boost. Does anyone know what the meaning of the word boost is? Yeah, it could mean encourage. It could mean accelerate. Okay. Right, let's go back to paragraph E. Chocolate could boost concentration. Why is that E? Okay, you will notice that the first sentence, you can't find the answer in the first sentence because it talks about blood sugar levels. Neither can you find the answer is in the last sentence. It's a good source of chromium. It makes glucose available in the body. Where you can find the answer is that it will keep you going for longer. Okay? It gives long-lasting energy. So it helps, in a way, it helps to boost concentration. It boosts concentration, keeps you going for longer because it gives you a lot more energy to do whatever it is that you need to do. Okay, so let's take a look at heading number 1. Chocolate makes us feel better. Now, you can actually find the answer here. Hold on a second, maybe I'm on the wrong page here. Yeah. Okay, it makes us feel better. Okay, so we can see that the keywords in the heading, it makes us feel better, has almost something more or less equivalent to that. It makes us feel calm. We experience a pleasant feeling of calm. It's so pleasurable. It gives us a sense of well-being. It acts as pain relievers. So for these reasons, you can see that the answer for heading number 1 is actually C. Yeah? Let me just put it there. Chocolate makes us feel better. Okay, number 2. Chocolate is good for stress. Okay. Keyword here is stress, but be aware that you may not find the word stress in the text itself. Something equivalent to stress maybe. If you're lucky, it might even have the word stress in there somewhere. Excuse me. Any ideas? Okay, if you haven't already found it, it should be in paragraph B. It helps to reduce stress because, lo and behold, you can find the word stress over here. Also, the sugar in chocolate may reduce stress. It is also a relaxant, which is, which is the opposite or feeling stress is feeling relaxed. It's a tranquilizer. It makes you calm down if you're stressed. Okay, so it has a calming effect on babies and animals. So if you have identified heading number 2 as paragraph B, give yourself a pat on the back because it is paragraph B there. Okay, so it's almost like a giveaway. All right, let's type B there so you can see that. Okay, heading 3, chocolate does not give you spots. Okay, what are spots? What is the meaning of the word spots? Pimples, perhaps, yeah? Okay, so let's take a look at the paragraph that has this particular heading. Chocolate does not give you spots. Okay. Okay, might be somewhere there. So see if you can find any of the keywords. Okay, if you look closely, acne is another word for spots. And we also have the word spot here. Okay, spots, which means pimples, is a skin irritation. So it's got something to do with that here. Observe their skin for the next week. So these keywords tell you that this research tells you that chocolate does not give you spots. So it's not enough for you to think that paragraph D is the answer, but you need to make sure that it agrees with the heading. The heading says that, what does it say again? Let's go back to the list. Chocolate does not give you spots. So if the paragraph tells you that research shows that it does give you spots, then that could not be the answer. However, you can see here that it says there is no scientific data to confirm this link, that chocolate gives you acne or gives you spots or gives you pimples or irritates your skin. So this is obviously the right answer. Okay, so let's put this down as paragraph D. Okay, so well done if you've got this one right. Okay, chocolate makes you live longer. Makes you live longer. All right, so let's take a look at where we can find this. I'll help you along. It's on this page. So it can't be B because we've already identified number 2, heading number 2 is B. So it could be A. How do we know that chocolate gives you a long life? Basically, you can see from the first sentence, if you eat small amounts of chocolate, you can live a year longer than those who don't eat any chocolate. And it's known to protect against cancer. Okay, so you have a long life if you eat chocolate, which is good news for me. Okay, so obviously the answer to this one here should be A, paragraph A. Number 4, chocolate makes you live longer, is paragraph A. Now this one here is a little bit tricky. Chocolate is nutritious. Nutritious, another word for nutritious? Yeah? Healthy, perhaps? Okay, let's go look for where you can find this. Okay, give you a clue. It's on this page. Chocolate is nutritious. Okay, go ahead and look for the answer. First sentence, last sentence. Okay, if you have identified the paragraph as I, you are absolutely correct. You cannot find the word nutritious in this paragraph, but you can tell from the description it contains 1.2 milligrams of iron, 45 milligrams of magnesium. It's a reasonable source of calcium. Uh, you know, we need to eat 7 bars to get daily allowances of these minerals. So it tells you, it breaks it down to how much, what chocolate contains. So it contains lots of healthy minerals. So this indirectly tells you that it's a nutritious meal in itself, because it contains iron, magnesium, calcium, and we need to get about 7 bars to have the recommended daily allowances of these minerals. Okay, so paragraph I, that would be heading 5. Okay, chocolate boosts the appetite. So we've got the word boost here again for heading O and heading 6, but this time we've got appetite. Boosts, increases concentration, increases the appetite. So let's try to be the text detective and look for anything that has a paragraph that has anything to do with appetite and eating. Yeah, you should be able to find it on this page. So okay, so that should be enough time. Appetite. Has anybody found words that have anything to do with appetite and food? If you have identified this as G, that's good. Chocolate could be just what you need to help you get your appetite back. Okay, and something to do with hunger here as well. But you can find the answer in the last sentence. So if you have identified heading 6 for paragraph G, then again, give yourself a pat on the back for a job well done. Okay, chocolate helps us digest milk. Okay, something to do with milk. Let's look for it here. Okay, again, you can find the answer on this page. So it could be either F or H. I think through the process of elimination, you should be able to find it quite quickly. Something to do with milk. So it can't be paragraph H, because you can't find anything here to do with milk. So it must be paragraph F, because we've got the word milk, and lactose is good for those who are lactose intolerant. Lactose is something related to milk. Okay, and then we have the word digest, lactose. So chocolate digests milk. Okay, and then we have the word milk here mentioned again. So this is easy peasy. You can find the answer in paragraph F. Okay, chocolate can make you more alert. Okay, again, through the process of elimination, it should be paragraph H. It helps you be more alert. How do we know this? Because, well, looky here, we've got alert as the word, but also to confirm it a little bit more, it's thought to make us more alert. okay, because it contains theobromine, a caffeine-like substance that's thought to make us more alert, and so on. So there you have it. Okay, a very simple method for you to find the answers for a list of headings in a typical task for IELTS reading test module. Okay, I hope you have found today's session quite helpful for you. If you do have any questions, do get back to me via the comments box below, and I'll be happy to answer any query that you have about this task type and also about the lesson for today. Okay, so it's been a pleasure having you around, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you again. Okay, so excuse this streaming. I'm not sure if it's reaching you on time, but this, again, like I said, this is my first attempt at doing a Facebook live streaming video. So if the connection is not too strong for you, my apologies. I'm not really sure if it's my connection or whatever, but hey ho, have a good weekend. I will look forward to reading your comments later on. Bye.